got a little bit of drama today. I can't believe that I'm having to even talk about this, but it needs to be talked about. I was like given some super crazy disrespect today at Bubbakoo's Burritos, bro. I haven't been here in like a year or so. There's a whole story behind that, which is why I originally intended to do this video. This is going to be a little bit of a long yap to start, but I know a lot of y'all like drama and stuff like that. It turns into drama a little bit. So if you don't just fast forward, I'll put a timestamp in a video if you don't want to hear about this, you just want to see the food. But this needs to be talked about today. The original point of this video was because I was a huge fan of Bubbakoo's Burritos, and then over the years, it started to get worse and worse to the point that I was like, I'm not going here anymore because I don't like it. I ended up starting going to places like Chipotle, Qdoba. I always said this one was the best. If you don't believe me, check my feed, just type in Bubbakoo's on my search name, and you'll see a bunch of posts about this. I went there way back in 2018 before they started expanding. I got to meet the person who was the owner of that place way back then, and I told him to his face back then, if they expanded, I would be there all the time. The only difference was it was way down to like Wall Township, which is down the shore from me. Too long of a drive. Otherwise, this place is legit. Lo and behold, a couple years later, they end up in the Saddlebrook, New Jersey location, which is where this is from. I really liked the place even there. I even did an eating challenge back when I was doing those when I first started YouTube. And I ate like a 10-pound burrito, which was nuts, but it was delicious. Fast forward a couple of years, I'm doing more videos. I start noticing the size of the meals are getting smaller. I start noticing the quality of the food is getting worse. The rice was old. And the last video I made was like last summer. And I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna go here anymore because it just wasn't hitting like it used to. It pains me to make videos like that, but I did. Lo and behold, the owner of the restaurant emailed me like probably a week after I made that video with reasons why it was and it would never happen again. And I'm one of those people that I'm not like gonna start no issues with it. So I said, you know what? Eventually, I'm gonna go back there and try it out. That's why I went today. I even got a message from the franchisee who owns that restaurant saying, hey man, come back. I didn't, I waited. So I waited, now fast forward, it's November, right? From last year. Some people noticed it because they made comments on my Chipotle videos, and I was like, all right, bet. So I go in today, but because I know that they know, you know, this place, the owner of the franchise knew who I was, the guy who runs this location knew who I was, I said, let me place an order on an app this way. So I did. I can even show you. I have my app out right here, right? Here is my order on the app. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see that, but I placed the order on the app this way that my food would be made before I got there. And they couldn't be like, oh, it's this guy, just in case he was there. So he wasn't there. But anyway, I walk into the place, and here's where things start to get a little freaking like, you gotta be kidding me. I walk in, there's two people there. There's a man and there's a woman. They're younger than me. No, you know, as most people are, because I'm old at this point. And the guy just gives me a look. He doesn't really greet me. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? I got an app order. So he goes, what's the name on the order? Now, when I'm looking on this app, there's no name here. So I just kind of am like, I'm not really sure, but here's my order. And I turn my phone around like this. Dude grabs the phone out my hand and starts scrolling around, and he's like, all right, hold on a second. Now, first of all, again, he looks confused, and he's just scrolling on my phone. I just thought that was weird. That's not the issue here. But to me, I don't really like when people grab my phone, especially like, I don't know you, bro. Like, you know, you grab my phone for it. It's iPhone Air. Don't break my damn phone. But that's not the issue. Here's where it starts to get a little like, what the hell is going on here? He looks, he goes to the other woman that's working there, and then he goes in the back. There's two bags there. And then he comes back and he goes, someone took your order. Someone came and picked it up. And I was like, someone came and picked up my order? I'm confused at this point. He's like, yeah, they just came and took it. I'm like, so what does that mean for me? Because I know that happens. It happened at Wingstop a couple of years ago. Someone grabbed my order. They made me another order. So I'm like, so what does that mean for me? Right? And the guy goes, I don't know. I swear to God. And I went, what? At this point, I'm like, maybe he didn't. He goes, what do you want me to do? That's exactly in that tone of voice. He goes, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I said, so then that's when I'm like, hold up, because I know he ain't talking to me like that. I did one of these things. I grabbed my phone again. I said, so you let someone come in here, claim my order on the app, and take my food without even like checking the credentials. I'm sitting here holding my phone. Clearly, I'm not like making this up. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it open on the app. And he just continues to go, that's what he did to me. So finally, the other woman walks over and she goes, what was the name on the order? He goes, it doesn't have a name. So how do you know they take my order? At this point, I'm just weirded out. So she comes back and she says, is the name on the order Dave? I said, it might be. Again, looking at this, there's no name on this part. Normally it says ask for this or that, but I don't see that. So I say, I'm like, you can check the phone number if you want to. So finally she goes and they make my order as it's happening. Again, I placed my order about 20 minutes beforehand, which isn't a big deal. It was just the amount of attitude that this dude gave me. He actually looked at me and said, what do you want me to do? Like, I was supposed to do something about it. I just think, again, the crazy part is, and I'm gonna show you this, I spent $54.80, and because the app asked you for tip, I always tip. I tip like $7 without even any service whatsoever. So now I feel like I just tip to get treated like some like idiot. And again, I walk into these places, I don't try to like, hey, I'm so-and-so. He doesn't know who I am. He has no idea I'm making this video right now. But even when he gave me my food, he didn't even look at me. He was like, and I just smirked at him and walked away. I just feel like, again, if that's how you treat a normal customer, like why the hell would you go back to that place? So personally, even if I like this, I'm gonna do my own impartial review on this, separate from the service, which I'm already telling you, even if I like this, I will never go back to this location again after how that dude tried to act towards me. What do you want me to do to a customer who just spent $50 and tipped? Is crazy work. Without further ado, I got my favorite stuff from Bubbakoo's. I'm still gonna keep it professional on this, but I got 4 of my favorite orders. So this is their steak nachos. I always used to get these. I used to get steak and shrimp, but I ended up getting steak because it cost $12.99. Adding the shrimp would have cost $16.99, and I didn't want to pay $17. Again, I placed this at before any of this happened. I got their burrito bowl, which I said this before. I still think this is like really a lot smaller than what it used to be. I feel like they used to be a lot bigger from again, I've eaten here like probably 7 or 8 times over the years, maybe even more. So this is the burrito bowl. You can tell by how loaded this thing is, but the burrito bowl, this is $13. But again, it's heavy as hell. I do feel like that's smaller, and I used to love these fried Oreos, bro. They got caramel and they have raspberry, and I got the caramel because that's the one that I always like. The Birria tacos, and I got the burrito bowl, and then I got the nachos, and I got these boardwalk cookies, which they can't call them fried Oreos for copyright purposes. Did he give me a fork? He did. He gave me a silverware? He did. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna start off with the burrito bowl. Let me tell you what is inside. Grilled chicken, honey sriracha, white rice. The honey sriracha is a sauce. You can get sauces. I don't know if people are familiar with Bubbakoo's. They have a ton of different sauces you can put on their chicken. I did the honey sriracha, white rice, black beans, fajita veggies, corn salsa, fresh jalapenos, sour cream, and cheese. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. I am not going to like use the fact that I feel like, you know, I'm going to keep that out of this review. Let's try this burrito bowl and see what is hitting on. I always like to do the fresh jalapenos. So we got one of those in there. Got the chicken, the honey sriracha sauce. I need another bite. I love the honey sriracha sauce on this. That's good. It adds something different. It reminds me of Chipotle when they did that one honey chipotle chicken, but this one's spicier, which I like. Fresh jalapenos is always a plus. My only issue with this is the same thing I said last time, which is even compared to other places, the consistency of the rice, it's like they're not putting something in it when they leave it in that hot container that they scoop the rice out of. So it's like gummy, like almost like when you overcook rice too much. But with everything else that's on here, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't good. The only issue that's bringing it from being like an elite bowl, in my opinion, is the rice. Looking at the size of this, I would say it's about the same amount that you get from a Chipotle. In here, the container is a little bit bigger, so maybe that's why. Also, I don't feel like I'm getting any fajita veggies in here. Like okay, they put a little bit in here. They didn't really put that much in here. Yeah, there's like a half a scoop of fajita veggies in here. I was wondering why I didn't get it. Yeah, that's really it. The rice is the only, like, can you see this? You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'll give that a 7. Why am I giving it a 7? Again, the whole main point of a burrito bowl is the rice part. And if the rice isn't enjoyable, it's still not going to be like a hitter like it was. The problem is I got rice on this too, which kind of sucks. Let's see if I can get a nacho chip out of this. 7. There's got to be another location near me. Because now I want to eat it again. I know if you make that rice right, that's still way better than the last time I had it in the car. Burritos back then didn't really taste like this. This one recently has been pretty bland, man. Again, I just have to be honest about this because this is a place that I filmed at. This ain't what it used to be. It might be the worst burrito bowl out of any of them I had recently. This was always like my real go-to order. So these are their nachos, the works. Queso, hibachi steak, chipotle crema, white rice, pinto beans. Yes, you can get that on their nachos. Pineapple salsa, pickled jalapenos, sour cream, and shredded cheese. This one cost $12.99. I saw her use the spatula for like the steak. I'm gonna see if I can find the old videos I used to have. They used to give you way more steak than this. This hits different. Look at that, man. Look at all the steak you get. And the other thing is the pieces on the steak that I used to get were a lot bigger. Maybe that's a good thing though. But let's try. I need to get in here. I just got a bite with literally just cheese. But, let me see. Where's the pineapple salsa at? It's like under there. I feel like I'm gonna have to dissect this to get to it. But, did I forget the pineapple sauce? No, there's pineapple right there. That looks just like pineapple chunks. Let me see if I can get. There's pineapple right there. Okay, I'm gonna be real. If that's supposed to be pineapple salsa, it just looks like diced pineapple. It's not really a salsa. Here it is right here. On the side, I got it on the side of the Birria. There are some other things in here. There's just not much. Got some red onion, some cilantro. There's really not a lot of it. It's mainly pineapple. And I feel like if you're gonna make a salsa, the pineapple needs to be a lot smaller than that. Because those are big ass pineapple chunks for a salsa. But this, I don't dislike it either. I shouldn't have gotten the rice. The rice is killing everything for me. Other than that, let me get a piece of this steak. I feel like there's not a lot of steak on this. But maybe that's because you get a mountain of everything else. That's the biggest thing. I don't feel like there's a ton of steak. But I need to look at my old videos in order to see how much you got. I'm gonna have to see if I can find it on my hard drive. I like chipotle crema. I even like the addition of the pineapple, even though it's not really salsa. I feel like this is a way better value than this. If you're gonna get one or the other, you can get rice on this. So I literally put a burrito bowl on top of nachos and got it. I'm sure if you have a good location, you can find a mix of things that would go on this because no one else serves this like this. And I think that's a great addition. This, I'm gonna give an 8. If they fix the rice, and maybe I find another topping because that steak ain't gonna cut it for me. There's just not enough on here. You got something there. The biggest disappointment, again, I had the biggest complaint was the rice last time. They even made a whole, when the guy wrote me the email, he was like, it won't be like that anymore. It's still like that. And that breaks my heart. But the rest of it, it's cool. Over here was like their newest addition. And I got it last time. And I said a lot was to be left desired about it. But I wanted to try it again. These come out to $14. You get 3 tacos with some consomme. So you have their birria sauce, which is what they call it, which is right here. You get a choice of 2 salsas. I got the hot sauce and the pineapple just because I didn't know what the hell else to get with this. Diced onion, cilantro, and the birria sauce. I'm gonna try the first bite with no consomme. Off first bite, these are way better than the ones I got last year. Texturally, they did a better job with the cheese melted. And with the tenderness of the birria. I need to go in the consomme because without it, It's bland. So let's try it with the that's a really thick consommé. The same issue I had last year is the same one as this year. I don't like the consommé. It tastes like beef stock. So let's go into this thicker than a prom date consommé. This is like, that's kind of thick. Let's see though. Yeah, throw that like beef bouillon and that's it. Like there's not much else to it. It's also texturally. You see how thick this is? It ain't supposed to look like that. It's supposed to be a lot thinner than this. I think I said the same exact thing last year. Consommé is thicker than my prom date though. Holy hell. That looked thick. I don't know how that is supposed to not be that thick. And I'm gonna say it again this year. The difference is they did pick up the quality on this. I said the tacos themselves were good and I didn't like the consommé. And if they fixed the consommé, it would actually be pretty good for like a chain. They didn't fix it. This is pretty good. That is not at all. But if they worked on that consommé, this really wouldn't be bad at all. So I find myself going, dip it in a salsa or something. And that's actually better, but it doesn't go. They gotta do something like consommé, bro. I don't know what the hell. It ain't supposed to be this thick. Like, this is crazy. But they're much crunchier than last time. And they did better with the cheese from last time, too. But if I put some different kind of salsa in this, I actually think I'd like it. That's the crazy part. And then finally, bro, these were like, I got these every single time, bro. When I did that eating challenge, I ordered 2 orders of this on top of the big-ass burrito I ate. I just need something sweet. So these are Boardwalk cookies. They're fried Oreos. And then you can get them with caramel or raspberry. I like the caramel better. This is gonna sound crazy. Let me see this right here. This is a French fry. Because they dropped it in the same grease. It tastes like French fries. Like, I thought I was crazy. I was like, this kind of reminds me of a fry. It's because it's in the same grease. They, in fact, accidentally left a fry in there. So, it's taking away, like the breading. Tastes like fries. Even after all that, I'm trying to be nice, bro. I understand that a lot of places fry their stuff in the same stuff, but when it means you probably haven't changed the grease in a while. And that's not good. This is like one of my favorite things, and I've never had it to the point that I was like, I almost feel bad, but I still have to tell the truth. I can't eat something that tastes like heavy French fry taste to me. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know, maybe because he tried to make it quick or real quick, because he's trying to get me the hell out of there, or what. Or they haven't changed the oil, but yeah. I taste fries on that. And what I mean when I say I taste fries on that, for people who need me to elaborate, because those fries are like the frozen curly fries, like it tastes like almost like an Arby's curly fry, which I normally would like. The problem is that I'm eating an Oreo, so I don't like it with that because there's like some weird seasoning or something on that. But yeah, no, I'm sorry. That one's not for me, bro. Man, not even those, bro. I'm gonna give those a 2 out of 10. This kind of breaks my heart. I'm not gonna lie. I do think that there's still stuff there. The biggest issue again was the rice, but I didn't dislike it. Like, I still would have eaten it, but I can't go back to that location. I'm big on like, I try to be respectful towards everybody, and I just like looking at me and saying like, well, what do you want me to do? Like, as if I made a mistake. You know what I mean? Like, so if someone happened to actually have taken my order, hypothetically speaking, it wasn't my order, because it wasn't the right name. They said the other person's name was like something Samantha, I think it was. So hypothetically speaking, if somebody had come in and stolen my order, like I just was going to be out $50, and you're going to say, what do you want me to do? I just don't think that's fair, bro. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's not my fault. That's their fault. So, I don't like to make videos like this. Would I go back to Bubbakoo's? I'm going to be honest with you. I need to try a new location. And I think they made one that's relatively close to me, and I need to see what that one's hitting on, because this one for me is chalked. And that's a shame, because this was the one that I'd actually been to a ton of times and I really liked. But after that, like, you wouldn't go back to a location after someone just says, what do you want me to do? Like, that's crazy. As far as the food goes, like I said, they had some good things that they fixed. They had some things that they didn't improve, but that's kind of the way things go from time to time. As always, when it comes to these types of videos, I am never just gonna start saying crazy stuff. I'm gonna be as constructive as possible on things you can fix. Whatever you're doing with the rice, that you keep it in that hot, which is normal. All these places have hot containers of rice. I've been to Chipotle and eaten old rice and stuff like that, but it still doesn't come out like gummy consistency like that, and it just kind of turned me off from some of the stuff like that. And the consomme, it's the same issue from the consomme, but I still try to give constructive criticism as much as possible. I never try to do things to hurt anyone's business or anything like that. But like I said, I walked in there just like any other normal paying customer would, and to have somebody talk to me like that. The crazy part is, if he talked to me like that as just the regular paying customer, I just look at it like, does he talk to anyone else like that? Or was it just, did he have a problem with me? Because most people wouldn't go, well, I'm going to talk about this on camera later where there's going to be thousands of people that are going to see it. You know, I'm just big on customer service, and you would never do that to somebody who walked in and paid, like, you know, I'm not even joking with y'all, bro. Like, I wish I would have had my glasses on because I would have filmed it. But it's already dark out, I didn't have my glasses on, and the dude literally looked at me and was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, what do you want me to do? I was taken aback because I don't come in disrespectful. Y'all know, bro, I'm not like that. So it is what it is, man. I had to say it. This is the second kind of drama video that I've made. I hate drama, bro. I hate issues. I just be trying to have a good time and make food, man. But it is what it is. This is a long-ass video, but I had to tell y'all what happened, bro. I appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. And hand signs. They made it to YouTube.